Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Jess Brumana.
And I'm Tony Santos.
Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin has met with the Ukrainian Prime Minister and Defense Minister to discuss the country's needs in the war against Russia. The war in Ukraine has now lasted over 2.5 years, but officials say it's far from over. Progress in the war is credited to American-backed weapons and financial support, which U.S. officials say they want to continue providing. However, support for Ukraine has become a more partisan issue, with some Republicans opposing support bills. Defense officials fear that the divide on the issue will grow under a Trump-led administration.
In more international news, Israel has designated a bank as a terrorist organization after bombing multiple branches of the institution overnight in Lebanon. Israel claims the bank Al-Qard al-Hassan has been used to fund and finance Hezbollah's military operations. Government officials are calling for settlements to be developed along the Gaza Strip and the Palestinian population be expelled from the region. An event held on Monday rallied hundreds of citizens and politicians in favor of development. While the Prime Minister has not explicitly announced settlements will be developed, members of his cabinet were present and spoke favorably of the option at the rally.
With Election Day just 2 weeks away, both presidential candidates are trying to gain final votes. In support of her campaign, Harris is paying a visit to Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. She'll be accompanied by former Congresswoman Liz Cheney to discuss her plans if elected.
Former President Trump worked the fry station at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. This was an effort to try to win the battleground state that many think is the catalyst to winning the election. Today, Trump will be stopping by Asheville to view hurricane damage ahead of his rally in Greenville, North Carolina.
With Election Day just ahead, voters are ready to cast their ballots. Our Eliza Kosten spoke to the younger demographic of voters to hear their thoughts on the upcoming presidential election.
I'm here at the CSUN campus to talk to young voters about their thoughts about the upcoming presidential election. With so much on the line, it's important to hear what issues matter to them and how they plan to make their voices heard.
It's really exciting having a female president, possibly, right? I have two nieces, so I'm really excited that, if she gets elected, fingers crossed, that I could watch the, inauguration with them so they could grow up seeing, that it's possible. So that's the biggest thing I'm really excited for.
I think that there's a lot of division in our country, and so maybe going forward, political leaders can strive to not cause the division because that's just really unhealthy.
Alexa, thank you. In India, the holy festival Navratri has ended. At CSUN, the Indian Student Association held their own event to celebrate the occasion and practice their faith.
So it's a worship which we do to the goddess, which you can see right there in the middle, which is placed in the middle. So what people do, they get in a big circle around the goddess, and as a form of worship, they do a certain type of dance, which is known as Garba, which is what the event is today. It's called Garba Night.
Mehta says the goal of the event is to offer a home away from home to international students and bring people of all backgrounds together to celebrate the beauty of Indian culture.
Millions of Californians took part in the Great Shakeout last week, including many schools. Roseman High School participated in the shakeout to teach students what to do and what not to do during an earthquake. During the drill, students and staff participated in the stop, drop, cover, and roll method before they were given the all clear. International Shakeout Day is every third Thursday of October.
The final quarter of the year seems to be very festive at this time. Our Tony Santos has more on how the community of Granada Hills got their boogie on last weekend.
So I'm currently standing here in Granada Hills for their 20th annual festival, which features a car show, Oktoberfest, and much more.
Just chilling. It's fall. So I live down the street. This happens every year, and my roommate and my girlfriend and I all came here. It's a lot of fun. Trying to finish 2 more drinks in 10 minutes. Let's see if I can do it. I don't know if I can, but I probably can. Okay, yeah, that's it.
As I mentioned earlier, there were plenty of other things to enjoy, and if you're one of those people that prefers to be sober, well, there was an abundance of cars to admire, to say the least, which was awesome, especially for our car enthusiasts out there.
We just came out to hang out with the fellas and meet real cool people. This is our 3rd time coming here, right? Same spot. This is our own car show. Car show down there, car show right here.
From here in Granada Hills, Tony Santos, Valley View News.
Tony, thank you. As the romance and book communities continue to grow, one Culver City store hopes to celebrate its significance. Our Eliza Portillo sat down with one of the owners and has more on how they made their dream a reality.
The Rip Bodice is a bookstore devoted almost entirely to romance novels. Sisters and owners Bea and Leah Koch opened the Culver City store in 2016 as an effort to recognize and celebrate the romance community.
It was a very sort of light bulb moment. What if we had a romance-only bookstore? And our actual first reaction was, well, surely that other people are already doing that, which turned out to not be the case.
The opening of the Rip Bodice follows a successful Kickstarter campaign to bring their dream of a romance-only bookstore to life. The store prides itself on not only being the first to open up in the United States, but also being woman and queer-owned. The store's allure revolves around comfortability and inclusivity to complement their diverse collection of romance books and wide selection of gift items with a focus on supporting independent, women-owned businesses. Under the romance umbrella, there are many subgenres including historical, contemporary, young adult, fantasy, and much, much more.
We hope to foster an environment where somebody, says, do you have any books where, the woman wears a hijab, or do you have any books where a character uses a wheelchair?
The Rip Bodice carries all of those and also has sections specifically for LGBTQ romances, paranormal romances, and sci-fi romances with a diverse array of heroines and heroes. One of the store's biggest features is the Post-it notes plastered all over the bathroom walls. Customers are encouraged to leave thoughtful and positive affirmations. Many readers say that the Rip Bodice has become a safe place for them to take pride in the hobby.
I feel super comfortable being here, coming and being who I am, finding books that either they're romance fiction or even some of the nonfiction books.
The owners have started expanding their business and now have a second location in Brooklyn, New York that opened last year. The stores also host many events such as comedy shows, writing workshops, and author signings. The Rip Bodice is paving the way for more romance-only bookstores that engage with the book community and leave romance genre stigma at the door. Eliza Portillo, Valley View News.
Eliza, thank you. More to come on Valley View News. We sat down with a doctor who spoke to us about the San Fernando Valley Cancer Center.
And a laser-equipped robot has been programmed to dance in front of an audience.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
In 4 days.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children. She didn't know what to do.
Did you have a good day at school?
She gave them some broth without any bread.
There you go.
And kissed them all soundly.
Night night.
Good night. And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
What I thought was a complete life was nowhere near complete. But it is now.
Learn about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org.
Welcome back. Breast Cancer Awareness Month is almost over, but the struggle of cancer patients is year-round. We've had the privilege of getting to sit down with someone who has dedicated his career to this struggle. Jess Brumana has more with Dr. Tom Lomas on the resources that are available to low-income cancer patients.
Thank you. Today, we're joined by the medical director of the San Fernando Valley Cancer Center, Dr. Tom Lomas. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
For a bit of background, can you tell me a bit about how the San Fernando Valley Cancer Center came to be?
Yes, the San Fernando Valley Cancer Center was started in 2005 because of the great need to have access to cancer care for patients in the San Fernando Valley. We're proud to provide this service to this population that is in great need.
I understand that you, or not you, but the center has opened an additional location in the Santa Clarita Valley. What goes into, picking a location and choosing where to allocate those resources?
It's to a substantial extent driven by need. And prior to opening that center, those patients would travel from as far away as Palmdale down to Van Nuys. And so now we're very happy that those patients who are already struggling with a diagnosis of cancer can stay closer to home to get their treatment.
Yeah, I imagine, that's a big distance. That's at least 30 minutes from just Santa Clarita alone. I can't imagine, having to do that for treatment multiple times a week.
I mean, it would be one thing if they were coming down just for an initial visit. But as you know, cancer patients, sometimes the course of treatment can be 6 months or a year, and it really becomes a hardship because they're not feeling well, because many of them are getting chemotherapy, and also they have to deal with the expense of the additional travel.
It's my understanding that your cancer center provides subsidized services through the Every Woman Counts program. Can you tell me a little bit about how that works?
Right. The Every Woman Counts program is a life-saving program. We provide this service based on need, and the patients fill out a application and almost always are accepted into the program. And so in regards to breast cancer, they will get a mammogram, and it's called a screening mammogram, okay, just looking to see if anything pops out. If that turns out to be a cancer, then there's a sister program called the Breast Cancer Treatment Fund that will provide definitive treatment, and that includes surgery, medical oncology, chemotherapy, and radiation. And so really in the state of California, it's a shame when women end up not getting the treatment they need in a timely fashion because this wonderful program is available.
Yeah, I imagine that, early screening really can be very preventative.
Well, we've made a lot of advancement in the treatment of breast cancer with, development of immunotherapy, of other targeted therapies that go straight for the cancer. But even with all these advancements, unfortunately, too many women do not survive a diagnosis of breast cancer. And it's really a shame because early diagnosis of breast cancer almost always results in a cure. Not always, but close to always. And in fact, we're having a conference in Santa Monica with national and world experts focusing on both breast and prostate cancer and the new advancements in treatments that have been made. It's not for the public, it's for physicians, but it's in November.
For us non-physicians, is there any way for us to, help or help contribute to this?
Well, we do have a nonprofit arm of the San Fernando Valley Cancer Foundation, of the San Fernando Valley Cancer Center. It's called the San Fernando Valley Cancer Foundation. The funds that are raised are strictly used for patient services, such as breast reconstruction. A lot of times, lower income individuals can't find a plastic surgeon who will do reconstruction for Medi-Cal rates. So we help with that. We help with egg freezing for young women that unfortunately are diagnosed with breast cancer. They haven't had their family yet. Other resources that we provide, such as support services, like there's a process called lymphedema or arm swelling, which a small number of patients that undergo surgery for breast cancer get 1 to 2%. So it's not a huge problem, but for those that get it, it can really affect their lifestyle. They might have trouble even buttoning their shirt. So we have lymphedema specialists. They also provide wigs and makeup for patients undergoing chemotherapy. So all of these support services are equally important to provide to patients that are really struggling with this diagnosis.
Thank you. This is all very important to learn and to tell people about. So, Dr. Lemus, thank you so much for coming here today and educating us on all of these.
The pleasure's mine completely. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to make your audience aware that these programs are available to them.
Back to you.
Jess, thank you. The San Fernando Valley Cancer Center can be reached with this contact information. 2,400 mental health care workers with Kaiser Permanente are on strike across Southern California. They're asking for wages increases, proper staffing, and more time to handle non-therapy responsibilities. The workers include psychologists, psychiatrists, nurses, and addiction counselors.
CVS pharmacy workers are also on strike. Workers in multiple Southern California locations are demanding better pay and a chance for fair negotiation, which strikers say the company has not given them the opportunity to. Following a surge of layoffs, CVS has named David Jover as the new CEO. Stock prices for CVS have plummeted 20% this year, which resulted in CVS withdrawing its 2024 profit forecast. With the departure of the previous CEO, Karen Lynch, the executive data firm Equilar says that 9% of CEOs are now represented by only 45 women in the S&P 500.
The vaccination rate among children in the U.S. has decreased this year. In a study published by the CDC earlier this month, the amount of kindergartners entering school without being fully vaccinated has increased. More parents have filed exemptions for their children to enter school with their MMR, DTaP, or polio shots. This increase has led health officials to be concerned, saying the lower vaccination rates may lead to resurgence of measles, polio, and other diseases prevented by getting vaccinated.
Caltech showcased a dancing industrial robot equipped with a laser last weekend.
What we're having this weekend is an opportunity to see how a creative artist from Taiwan has programmed the KUKA robot so that it can interact with dancers.
People were welcome to see the robot KUKA, which is programmed by Huang Yi, an acclaimed Taiwanese choreographer, dancer, and inventor. The performance was part of the Getty-sponsored PST Art and Sciences Collide series. KUKA is a German manufacturer of industrial robots and factory automation systems.
Sean Diddy Combs is facing a new series of lawsuits. Combs is facing 7 new lawsuits, including 2 from accusers who say they were minors at the time when they were allegedly drugged and assaulted by the singer. The newest lawsuits include allegations of rape, sexual assault, sexual harassment, battery, or false imprisonment. The music producer is being held in custody in New York as he awaits trial, which is set to begin in May.
Smile 2 grinned its way to the top of the box office last weekend. The sequel to the 2022 horror film opened number 1, grossing $23 million in North America. The Wild Robot was in second place with $10 million, Terrifier 3 following with $9 million, and in fourth place was Beetlejuice at $5 million. And We Live in Time rounded out the top 5 with $4.2 million grossed.
Now, I don't know about you folks at home, but I've been really enjoying the weather recently. But I checked on my phone recently, and it's gonna start heating up. What do you think, Jess?
I don't care for the heat. I like when it's cold, except when it's cold in the morning and then it's hard to wake up. What about you?
I just despise the heat. I really do. I like when it's cold, and I think our Alexa Kosten has more on the upcoming weather.
Yes, that's right, Tony and Jess. For those of you who are waiting for sweater weather, we're not quite there yet. Last week, we had some Santa Ana winds, and we will still be feeling the remnants of those winds this week. The weather will be on the drier side and quite warm, making it easy for fire weather to begin. As the heat and light winds are still ongoing, this weather makes it possible for fires to ignite and spread quickly. Fires are scorching through California as these conditions get stronger. Auckland, Jurupa Valley, San Gabriel Canyon, and Solano County were feeling these dangerous fire conditions over the weekend, but the red flag conditions have weakened and will continue to do so throughout the week as the winds die down. However, the gradual warming trend will bring us some beautiful temperatures with plenty of sunshine. As for our local weather forecast, for the week ahead, we're going to be seeing some pretty nice temperatures this week. For the valleys, expect some slightly warmer conditions with highs ranging from the high to mid 80s and evening lows dipping into the high to mid 50s. Moving inland, we're in for a bit of heat with highs ranging from the low 90s to the high 80s and nighttime temperatures hitting the mid 50s as well. And as for our beautiful California beaches, it's also going to be a slightly warmer week. Coastal highs will sit in the mid to high 70s with lows falling into the mid 50s. Heading into the weekend, it's going to be warm and sunny with cooler evenings. Temperatures will start to dip heading into next week, and we will finally see those cooler fall conditions just in time for Halloween. Another thing I wanted to say is that we got an update on what we can expect for this upcoming winter season. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has released its winter outlook. We can expect warmer than average temperatures heading into this winter season in California, and the warmth is anticipated to be along the entire Gulf Coast in states like Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. While this outlook isn't a day-by-day forecast, it can help us predict what we can expect for our winter temperatures this year. When we come back, we have the latest on the Dodgers following the NLCS and recaps on college and pro football in LA. Stay with us.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it!
Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Welcome back. You know, Tony, I have something to confess. I didn't watch the Dodger game over the weekend.
How could you not?
I left the window open, so I basically got a play-by-play with the neighbors going, "Oh," or "Yeah," you know, it's the same thing. For a more in-depth play-by-play, let's go head over to Charlie Gonzalez, our sports anchor.
Thank you, Jess. The Dodgers have clinched a spot in the World Series with a win over the Mets in Game 6 of the NLCS. They will face the New York Yankees at what has been dubbed as a fall classic. But first, let's recap what happened this past week. The boys in blue took Games 3 and 4 at Citi Field, but fell behind early in Game 5, losing and bringing the series back to Los Angeles for one more game. The stage was set for a night of celebration, as the Dodgers clinched a World Series berth at home in front of their fans for the first time since 1988. Tommy Edman got the party started with a 2 RBI double in the first, and the Dodgers would not surrender their lead. This was the start of Edman sealing the series MVP award, followed by this 2-run homer in the third inning. He later scored a run on an RBI single by Kike Hernandez. Will Smith also wanted to get in on the action of the third inning. "Hey, I want some too," he said. His 2-run shot gave the Dodgers a 6-1 lead. Shohei Ohtani has been stellar at the plate with runners in scoring position this postseason. This hit bounced away from center fielder Tyrone Taylor after he dove for it, allowing Will Smith to score on an RBI single on a play when a runner on second typically just advances to third. And the final out of the game, a 4-3 ground out by Francisco Alvarez. Ben Kasparius got the win and Blake Trinan earned the save. Dave Roberts becomes the 25th manager in MLB history to earn 4 league pennants. Final score, 10-5. Game 1 of the World Series is on Friday, with the first pitch set for 5:08 on Fox. Garrett Cole will start on the mound for the Yankees, but as for who the Dodgers will start, that is still to be determined. Now let's switch gears and look at college football. UCLA and USC both had games on the East Coast on Saturday. Trojans quarterback Miller Moss threw for 336 yards and 3 touchdowns, including this incredible one-handed grab by Jacoby Lane. He balances the ball in his left hand, grips it, and then pins it to his body as he goes to the ground to complete the process of the catch. And it takes a lot of concentration to pull that off. The game went back and forth through the fourth quarter. Leading 28-22, USC had a chance to make a 2-score lead and seal the win, but kicker Michael Lance missed a 41-yard field goal. Maryland marched down the field and scored the go-ahead touchdown. Terrapins win 29-28, and USC drops to 3-4 on the season, at the beginning when they first had championship aspirations. Their next game is Friday night at home against Rutgers. Speaking of the Scarlet Knights, UCLA defeated them 35-32 for their second win of the season. Ethan Garbers had a season-best performance, throwing 4 touchdowns and 383 yards. The Bruins will have a bye during Week 9. Transitioning into pro football, the Rams just came off a bye, hosting the Raiders on Sunday. Both squads had a rough start to the season. The Raiders totaled 4 turnovers on the day, including 3 interceptions thrown by Gardner Minshew. Rams running back Kyron Williams had 21 carries for 76 yards and 2 touchdowns, now scoring in 9 consecutive games. Inside the 2-minute warning, Rams safety Cameron Curl got his first touchdown as a Ram on a scoop and score after Kobe Durant strip-sacked Minshew. A brief change at the quarterback position was made, Aiden O'Connell relieving Minshew. O'Connell injured his thumb, landing him on injured reserve. Last week, the Raiders traded wide receiver Devontae Adams to the Jets, setting their offense up to struggle more than it already has. All the Raiders' points came off the leg of Daniel Carlson, who kicked 5 field goals. The nail in the coffin was an interception thrown into double coverage to safety Jalen McCullough. The Raiders fell to 2-5, and the Rams improved to 2-4, with a primetime matchup looming on the horizon. They will face the Minnesota Vikings at home on Thursday Night Football. Tonight, the Chargers are on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. And fall sports season is the best time. I know the two of you understand that better, living here for a long time.
Yeah, Charlie, thank you for that. I know Dodgers versus the New York Yankees is the game on everyone's lips. Anyways, President Biden will present the 2022 and 2023 National Medals of Art in a private ceremony at the White House. The medals will be given to a group of people including rapper Missy Elliott, film directors Steven Spielberg and Spike Lee, musician and actor Queen Latifah, and more. The National Medals of Art are granted to those deserving of special recognition by reason of their outstanding contributions to the excellence, growth, support, and availability of arts in the United States.
That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Jess Brumana.
And I'm Tony Santos. For stories any time of day, see our YouTube channel at Valley View News and our Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN.